Hi all, Dr. Kristen Kopaz here, clinical psychologist, and today I'm talking about our roles. And I think this is a really important topic because so often we take on many roles in our lives and we juggle them on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis. But do we even know what roles we're juggling? So I want you to think for a moment about the roles that you have in your life, right? It could be that you take them on with vigor and excitement, like being a student or being a psychologist, like I am, or being a mom or dad. But some of them we take on a little bit begrudgingly and we don't even realize it, or they've been placed on us. Like if we're the chef for the household, maybe we don't like to cook, but we've taken that role on begrudgingly. Or if we're alone, sometimes even just being the person in charge of our own nutrients can be a begrudging role that we have to take on. So I want you to think about, what roles do you play? What roles do you hold in your life right now? And how do those feel? Really kind of explore for yourself. Are you the landscaper or the gardener? Or are you the person who has to get the groceries and plan what food is in the house? Are you the person who keeps track of all the sports and what time and day they are playing and when those go on? Are you the person who your role is to keep everyone on track with their homework or studies? Are you a parent who keeps track of bedtimes and scheduling those? There's lots of different roles, and even within roles, like even as a father, you might have a role of maybe breadwinner or provider, and you also have a role of something else. Like it could be a role of trying to make sure the kids, get up on time, or the role of taxi driver. So when we think about these roles, what I really want you to consider is, are they things that you love? Like, have you worked hard for them? Like when I became a psychologist, that was something I wanted to do passionately. I worked hard for it. I did all kinds of things to get that role and jumped into it with a lot of love and passion and excitement. There's other roles in my life, for example, like a house cleaner, that I know I take on a little bit more begrudgingly. Not my favorite thing to do, but I do it, right? And one of the things that can happen when we take on roles either without intention, like they just happen to be placed on us, or we just take them on because we're humans and we need to take care of like our own food intake and nutrients, we can sometimes start to reject reality that we have that as a role. And when I say reject reality, not like we're psychotic, but like we want to pretend that's not our role. Like I'm gonna pretend I'm not the chef of the house, but in reality I'm making dinner maybe 5 nights a week. And so when we start to reject it, we can feel more resentment, more begrudging experiences, more anger or sadness, or just negative feelings towards the role. And owning it and kind of recognizing, like, you know what, this isn't what I signed up for, this isn't what I would have chosen, but this is the role I am in, and this is the role I plan to continue in. And starting to own that can be really helpful, and actually having a more positive attitude towards our daily tasks and towards the things that we play a role in each day, each week, each month, depending on what those roles are that we juggle. And so I want you to think about each of those roles. Sometimes even just write them out, and maybe put, like, if you have a positive association or negative association next to each ones, or if it's neutral, you can put an N, right? And kind of go through them. And the ones that are more negative, think about whether you might be trying to reject them. Like, I really don't want to have that role. And there's a couple things. Here's the tips of what you can do if you're finding you've got some that are very negative and you're kind of begrudging. Whether that be like, your role in your profession that you've sort of taken on. Maybe you never wanted to stay in a job and you're still there, or maybe it's being the laundry person in your house. Whatever it might be. What can you do to either change it, right? Like, can you talk to the other people in your house? Like if you have roommates or a spouse or family members, can you talk to them about like changing it up a little bit? Maybe somebody else wants to take on that role, or they could start moving into that role more days a week, or things like that. So you could change it. You could also accept it, right? Maybe you don't want to give that up. You like having control of the laundry, for instance, or the budget around food, so you end up doing the cooking, right? Can you kind of accept it and own it? Like, all right, I'm gonna watch some videos on how to learn how to cook better, or I'm gonna start spending a little bit of my time on my drive listening to a podcast related to doing the gardening if I'm, doing my gardening for the house, whatever it might be. And we're all in different places in our lives, right? Even students, can I learn about study skills and organization? Can I spend a little bit of time watching a few YouTube videos on that or listening to, something on that? It can help us to feel ownership, and it can help us to feel in charge of those roles, right? So we can change it if we don't like it, and we're able to. Sometimes we're not able to, right? I might not have anyone willing to do my laundry for me, or cook my meals for me. We can accept it, embrace it, try to find a way to feel more positive towards it, right? Or we can stay stuck. We can stay where we're at, and feel those negative feelings. And maybe look at what that's saying, right? If we decide to stay stuck, the third option, I really want you to look at what feelings come up for you. Are you sad that you got stuck with that role? Are you angry that someone else isn't helping or taking on that role, and or that you're not setting boundaries and you end up being used in that role, right? Because the feelings that we're having will tell us a lot of information about why we tend to reject that role in our lives, why we maybe have negative associations with that role, and we can work on that. I'm a big advocate of therapy, talking to your therapist. If you're really struggling, but sometimes even just being able to clarify, put our feelings and words on paper or say them out loud and talk to a trusted person, is enough to kind of work through them and decide what to do there. So I hope this is helpful, our discussion about roles and the roles that we all hold. And I would love to hear more from you. What roles do you hold? What, after this video, did you realize that you're taking on and didn't even know that was one of your roles in life? So please feel free to message me or put it in the comments. I am Dr. Kristen Kopacz, clinical psychologist. I'm licensed in the state of California if you're looking for somebody for virtual therapy. And I can also be found on my website, drkinthebay.com, as well as on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.